On today's episode, I wanted to talk about a before and after. I wanted to talk about who I was and who I believe I am today. I think there's a misconception out there that I have always been this way, that I've always been empowered, that I've always loved myself, that I've always been confident, that I've always been a master manifester. And so why I believe that doesn't serve you is because if you think that I was born this way, then you think that you would have needed to be born this way to do what I've done. Somebody reached out to me once, a dear friend of mine, and he said, Kathleen, you are always happy. Have you always been that way? And I said, well, does it serve you to believe that I have? Does it help you to believe that I've always been happy? And so the fact that I'm happy has created this life? But no, it hasn't been that way for me. This experience, this woman that you see and you get to meet and you get to spend time with on the podcast and on the YouTube and live events, she is an elevated version of myself. She is someone that I have designed and remembered and allowed to come through. It has been a conscious decision and a choice. And I haven't always been her. In fact, the experience of who I used to be when I think back to her, it actually makes me feel so grateful that I have chosen to let her go, that I have chosen to become the woman that I am today. My life up until about 37 years old, 36, 37 years old, I would say was a time of my life where I absolutely hated myself. And I can say that now, right now. At the time, I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have believed that I hated myself. I would have believed maybe I wasn't very nice. But looking back, I hated myself. I hated me. I hated my body, every part of it. I thought it was disgusting. I thought I was disgusting. I thought I was lazy. I thought I was a slob. I thought I was gluttonous. I thought I was masculine. I didn't even feel feminine. I never felt beautiful. I never felt sexy. I truly hated the physical body that I was in. And this started when I was probably 7 years old. In my first book, Becoming the One, I actually talk about how I did not know that there was anything wrong with my body until the world told me otherwise. So I was oblivious. I was a 7-year-old girl who was chubby or who was chunky, who carried extra weight. You know, I was not in organized sports. I actually hate team sports. Even to this day, I have no interest. And so my parents would put me into things and I wanted nothing to do with it. I would rather be at home with my family. And so I didn't do any organized sports. I wasn't very physically active, and I loved sweet food and I loved sugary food. The experience that I had was that my body was bigger in size than most other kids. And I didn't know that was wrong. I didn't know that was bad. I just lived my life until I started being called fat. Until my grandmother started telling me that I needed to go on a diet. My great aunt telling me to join Jenny Craig. Until I would go to a birthday party and everybody else would get 2 pieces of pizza and I'd get 1. Or everybody would get a big slice of cake and I would get a smaller one. And so what ended up happening is I started to develop an idea that I was wrong, that I was bad, that I was flawed, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy, that there was something wrong with me. And so from that age, from 7 years old, I have wanted to be someone else. I have wanted to be in a different body. I have wanted to be thin. I have wanted to be skinny, and I have wanted to be loved and liked and wanted to be beautiful like the women, the models that I see on the cover of the magazines. And so my entire life, every single year on my birthday, there was candles and I had the same wish. I wish I was skinny. I just say it on repeat. Even saying that to you right now makes me emotional. I don't feel that way about myself anymore. I don't want to be skinny. I haven't asked for that in like 5 years. So like when your primary ask in your life is to be someone else, to be different, to change what's broken, you're so disempowered. You're so disempowered. And so I decided to stop desiring that when I got into this work. I have had moments in my life where I have been depressed, where I have been on antidepressant medication. I've had moments in my life where I have thought about and planned out how I would end my life. And when I think about my life from who I am today, my life was not bad. My life was not wrong. I had a good life. I had abundance. I had love. I had family. I had children. I had things that most people want, but the mind will play tricks on you if you believe it. The mind will tell you that you're wrong, that you're flawed, that you're broken. Your mind will tell you that this life is not worth living if you stay in that cycle of negativity and negative thoughts. And so my freedom, my release from that was from myself. I was my own savior. This work, I became my own savior. I decided to no longer believe what the world had told me about myself. And this woman that sits here today that feels so freaking beautiful and so confident and so amazing, I had to tell myself that. I didn't get this from any of you. The world is not going to change your mind about yourself. You have to change your mind about yourself. And now I have 2 beautiful daughters, and they are so loving and so kind, and they're so much like me. And all I want for them is to know that they control who they think they are. They get to decide who they are in this world and in this life, and they get to decide their impact. And they get to decide if this is a good place or if this is a bad place. So have I always been this happy? Have I always been this confident? Have I always been this inspired? Have I always been this woman? No. Have I always been happy? No. I was so shy. I was so self-conscious. I would not even speak in front of 10 people. I remember my parents' 25th wedding anniversary, they asked me to do a speech. There was 12 people in the room, and I was horrified. You want me to do what? I can't do that, because that would mean that you would look at me, you would see me, you would judge me. And I did not want that. And so sometimes today, our YouTube channel went viral. We added 25,000 subscribers in 3 weeks. And as that was happening, I noticed. And I noticed my thought of, what are people going to think about what I say? Did I say the right things on those YouTube videos? Am I right in what I'm saying? Am I going to be judged? And I noticed it. And I decided in that moment that I believe in what I say. I believe in the power behind my words, that I have become a woman that truly believes that if you're going to judge me, it's because you're judging yourself. And if you're going to hate me, it's because you hate something about you. And if you're going to think that what I'm saying is ridiculous and crazy and out of this world, it's because you don't have the capacity to believe in greatness, in possibility and potentiality. And that has nothing to do with me. And maybe I'll just loosen your model a little bit. Maybe I'll get you thinking just a little bit outside of the box. And maybe one day you'll come back to me and you'll say, Kathleen, I'm ready to live a good life. The version I was before is not the version I am now. And I think why we wanted to do this episode, which I did not think I would get emotional, but why we wanted to do this episode was to show you that this has been an internal transformation. And you can physically observe it. You can observe it on the outside, which means you can see how different I look and you can see how different I feel, but you can feel how different I am and the difference in the woman that I show up as every single day. But that's not because of anybody else. That's because of me. Doing this internal work, asking for a heightened level of awareness. I had to question a lot of the things that I was taught. And so is it wrong or bad to be overweight? No. Is it bad for you to be a size 22? That was the size I was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I was a size 22 clothing. Is that bad? No, that's not bad. Amazing. You're amazing no matter what you look like. You're amazing no matter how much money you make. You're amazing no matter who likes you or doesn't like you. You're amazing no matter what gender, what race, what profession, what part of the world you live in, what language you speak. You are amazing. But you can't see you're amazing because you are hidden behind the stories that the world tells you about why you're not amazing. And you believed it and you fell for it. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. That means this body is not who I am. This body is what you see. Your mind can observe me in this way. But I hope what you really realize that you're seeing is my light. The spiritual being, the awareness, the God within that's coming through to tell these stories, to talk about these things. And the woman I am today has had to challenge some of her own beliefs about herself. I can't continue to show up as someone hating my body and tell you to love yours. I can't. So I've had to look in the mirror and I've had to fall in love with parts of my body that the world tell me are ugly, that the world tells me are gross. My rolls, my stretch marks, some saggy skin. I've released a lot of weight from my body. And let me tell you, you don't look in that mirror and suddenly go, oh great, I've released the weight, now I look good. It's still thoughts of, this hangs now. Look at this extra skin. This doesn't look right. My butt's smaller. For me, it's a conscious effort and decision to look in that mirror every day and to say, Kathleen, your soul is so beautiful. Your light is so bright. You have such a beautiful heart. And look at how gorgeous this body is that houses you. Look at this vessel. Caring and loving for your vessel. So for me, a lot of my insecurities, a lot of my confidence that was lacking, the self-conscious, the thoughts of hate came from the way my physical body looked. But for you, it might be your education. For you, it might be the color of your skin. It might be the gender you were and are now, are different. It might be that you're in transition. It could be anything. It could be your sexuality. Whatever you think is a flaw is the very thing that is keeping you from the potentiality and possibility of who you could be. And so that very flaw is the problem. And it's not that you are flawed, it's that you think you are flawed. I remember when I first started training with Eric Bigger, he is my trainer and dear friend. And when we first started training together, I said something to him and he never heard it. I said, being fat isn't wrong. It's believing that being fat is wrong that is the problem. So it was my belief that I had a flaw that was the problem. And so my whole life I was trying to fix something that was never broken. It was never broken. And there will be people who will come on here and they will say, no, Kathleen, being fat, it's a problem. You're not healthy. I would venture to say, according to who? Who says? Because at 300 pounds, I built my dream life. I built my dream life. I made more money than I ever thought I would make in my lifetime. I changed thousands of lives, including my family's. I created a beautiful impact and I was healthy. There was nothing to say that I was unhealthy. And so when I asked for more health, this is where I got now, at a place where my vessel is being taken care of. But she is being taken care of because I love her, not because I hate her. I used to hate myself to try to find the best of myself, and now I love myself to find the best of myself. So this is where true empowerment is, true inspiration, true self-love, and turning the tables around on your life and deciding to have something new for yourself. And remember that everything is an identity. So I no longer say that I am a woman who has depression or who was depressed. I will say that I've experienced moments where I've had depressive thoughts or negative thoughts or thoughts of suicide, things like that. But I no longer accept the identity of that thing. I accept an identity of an empowered state, of a beautiful state. So one of the things that we experience in our community the most is healing. Healing from past traumas and past lives, and healing from wounds from childhood, inner child work and all that kind of stuff. But we have people healing their bodies and healing their minds. We have people that have depression that it's now gone. People that have suffered with severe anxiety that have completely healed themselves from their anxiety. We have people that came into my energy who were suicidal, who now are so grateful that they cry tears of gratitude instead of tears of despair. We have people who have autoimmune diseases who are curing it with their own minds. An autoimmune disease is your body fighting itself. And now our minds are healing ourselves. We have people that would not even leave their houses that now walk outside with hair and makeup done in beautiful, stylish outfits because they're proud of who they are and the contribution that they can make to this world. And so the only problem is that you can't see your own light, and so you're dimming it. And there's no reason for you to do that anymore. It's time for you to let your light shine. But not because you need to, not because you need the validation, but because you believe that you are worthy of that you believe you are worthy of being seen and being visible, because you are. And I see your light. I feel every single light of every single person that sends me a message, likes one of my videos, who comments, because I can feel that you're reaching out to me because you now know your light is there. You now know you're capable. Those that will not reach out to me, will not like, will not comment, but still watch, I know that you're there and you're getting there. And one day you will leave a comment. One day you will speak up. One day you will be seen, you will be visible. And it will be because you chose to be and you made a decision to do that. So why don't you send me a comment, send me a message, like something, and let us know that you're here. Because the more we elevate one another, the more we change the world. And the more this human experience becomes a positive one instead of one that we want to duck out on early. So if you are listening to this podcast or watching this video on YouTube and you're resonating with some of the things that I've said, if you're feeling some of the ways that I've expressed, if you're hating yourself, if you are considering hurting yourself, if you are in a place where you don't feel like you're worth it, I want you to reach out to somebody for help. The most important thing that you can do is to cling on to the hope that there is a light, that there is an opening, that there is an end to whatever way it is that you're feeling in this moment. I have been there. I know how it feels, and I want you to reach out for help. There is an experience of life that is really amazing. So good. There is so much beauty for you to see. And in reaching out to someone and asking for help, you are empowering yourself and you are making a decision to experience all the good that life has to offer. So reach out to somebody on my team, send me a DM, comment below, do whatever you need to do. We'll also add some resources to the show notes here for you to be able to reach out to somebody. But please don't sit in that feeling alone. I know how it is. And you might feel like you're deep into a hole and you don't know how to get out. But the way to get out is to reach out for help and to go towards the light. And if this video has found you, it is not by accident, it is not by coincidence, but it is because you are asking for a way out. And I am the light to show you that that way is available to you. I love you. You got this. And remember that the limit does not exist.